Oh, hello, dear. Glad to see you again so soon.
Hi, Grandma. I just thought I'd drop by.
Sure, hon. Stay as long as you'd like.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
I don't see a reason to ask her about that. Do you know anything about this flower, Grandma?
I can't say that I do. I remember seeing it growing in the woods, but I didn't think much of it at the time.
What do you see in this picture, Grandma?
I have no idea, but it's quite an eerie display. What is it?
I'm trying to figure that out. I found the picture hidden in the attic.
Oh, come to think of it, the trees do look similar to the ones in Conwell Woods.
Yeah, it was taken somewhere in that area. I found out that the flower in the picture matches a rare local species.
Aren't you clever? Do let me know if you come across anything else.
I already showed her that. What can you tell me about Charles Wade?
Well, I do know he has made quite a name for himself since he and Joseph went to war together. Apparently, he came up with some brilliant piece of engineering for the airplanes. They use it everywhere now.
Any idea how to get in touch with him?
I'm afraid not, dear. I haven't seen him for years. He and Joseph grew apart before you were born.
Any particular reason for that?
Oh, not that I know of.
I already showed her that. I don't want to show her that. Bye, Grandma. I'll be back later.
So long.
A decent-sized book collection. Most of them science or history related from the looks of it. Nah, I don't need to call E right now. We'll catch up tonight. Nah, nothing like that in here. I got that number already.
Wade residence?
Hi, this is Kathy Rain.
Hello again, Miss Rain.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Very well.
It looks like someone was doing geometry. I can't make much sense of it. An old typewriter covered in cobwebs. That combination makes no... It's a photocopy of a book page with information about the red scythe flower. Here's an interesting segment. Another interesting trait of the red scythe is the smell, which is familiar to that of a pepper. The pollen of the plant has also been known to cause hallucinations in concentrated amounts. Native American tribes harvested and smoked the plant for that reason, but the flower never caught on as a modern recreational drug due to the difficulty of growing it. That action doesn't seem productive. Hello? Creepy bald guy. Guess no one's home. What's this? Looks like a specimen of the red scythe. It's endangered. I'm not going to take it without a really good reason. A bald man dressed in red. Oh, creepy. Why did someone leave this at the nature reserve? Yep, it's definitely the right flower. I don't see how those things work together. I don't see how those... That combination makes no... I don't think anything about that needs to be written down. Thick, dense forest. What were you doing out there, Grandpa? Conwell Lake, where Lily Myers met her demise. I can see someone moving inside. Somebody around here is a chain smoker. It doesn't belong to me. I don't want to take it without a good reason.
Oh, it's you again. Come on in.
No Nathan today?
Nah, haven't seen Nate all day, probably out in the woods.
That must be Lily. She seems very happy. Is this how Nathan still sees himself? As a little boy? Looks like Nathan knows the strange red man. I need to talk to him about this. A bald man dressed... That must be Lily. Is this how... Nice view of the lake from here. Very lifelike. Contrary to popular belief, I don't believe the owls are more than what they seem. Yet another burial ground for those sweet, addictive, not to mention cancer-inducing sticks of tobacco. I'm a huge fan. Nice view of the lake from here. Looks like they barely touched the food. Elk, by the looks of it. They're fairly common in Conwell Woods. It's an early painting by Lily Myers. I had a few more questions, Sue.
Shoot.
I don't need to ask her about that. Do you know who the Red Man is?
Oh, that's just Nate's imaginary friend. The Red Man has been around ever since my boy was little.
I see. So there's no actual person in town he could be referring to?
No way! According to Nathan, the Red Man hasn't changed in 30 years.
Sounds like he has quite an active imagination then.
Oh, you have no idea. He has unique names for each of the kitchen utensils. Nuff said.
Do you know anything about this flower?
Sure. Smoked it a few times back in the day, before it was endangered and all.
Yeah? What was it like?
Similar to pot, but stronger and more unpredictable. Never touched the stuff after I got pregnant with Lily.
All right. Sue, what do you see in this picture?
My God, that looks like one of Lily's paintings.
Wow, really? Can you describe it?
It was a nighttime scene, just like the photo, but the lights were floating above the lake. There was a pale hand reaching up from beneath the surface trying to touch them. The forest in the background was on fire, making the sky purple and red. There were probably other details too, but that's what I can remember.
Sounds captivating. Wish I could have seen it. Do you know what this key opens?
Well, that's a bit of a weird question, ain't it? But no.
I think I'm gonna head off now.
Sure thing, little cat. Come back anytime.
Oh, gee, I would, but I forgot my swimsuit at home. Conwell Lake, where Lily Myers met her demise. She was born a 76 Corley Motors, but there aren't many original parts left. Took me a couple of years to make her perfect. It's the Catmobile, my custom chopper bike. Plenty of gas in the tank. Hello, Isaac.
I'm all ears, my child.
This may sound strange, but have you heard of or seen a strange man dressed in red?
Only our Lord and Savior Jesus. Surely his rags were drenched in blood as he lay upon the cross.
That's not what I meant. I mean someone here, in Conwell Springs.
Are you joking? I haven't seen a person like that, no.
Do you know what this key opens?
I'm afraid not, my child.
I could, but I think I have more to gain from a subtle strategy. I'll keep it to myself for now, until I know more about this church. I know he's hiding something, but I don't think pushing it will work. That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
I don't need to ask him that now. Nah, I don't want to ask him about that. Nah, I don't want to ask him about that. Do you know anything about a weird bald guy dressed in red around here?
You're joking, right?
Oh, never mind. Hey, Lenny, do you recognize this flower?
Yeah, I accidentally inhaled pollen from one of them when I was a kid. I remember being sick and delirious for days.
Scary. Where did you come across this flower?
Somewhere in Conwell Woods. Not sure where exactly.
All right. Do you know what this is?
I have no idea. Looks creepy, whatever it is. Where did you get it?
Grandpa had it hidden away in the attic.
Probably for a good reason, then. Be careful out there.
I probably shouldn't. Hey, Lenny, do you recognize these men?
Not really. Sorry.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Laney, I need you to do something.
How can I help, boss?
It's my mother's birthday this weekend. You'll have to get her a gift.
Huh, very funny. What a tiny TV. Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Do you know anything about a weird bald guy dressed in red around here?
What the hell are you talking about?
Never mind. I don't need to ask him that. I don't need to ask him. Do you recognize this flower?
Matter of fact, I do. It's a local endangered plant with mild narcotic properties.
Yeah? Have you come across any users in the area?
Sure, but it's a bit tricky to do anything about it. Using it as a substance is technically illegal.
Ah, so the illegal part is picking it in the first place.
Yes, knowingly picking the flower is a crime, according to the Endangered Species Act of 1973.
Gotcha, thanks. Do you know what this is?
It's just some kids playing pranks with flashlights.
I probably shouldn't. He's new in town. That's all for now.
Good.
That must be the sheriff. He looks grumpy.
Oh, hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
I don't see a reason to ask her about that. I already showed her that. Well, gotta go, Grams. Talk to you.
Bye, Kathy.
This paint looks fresh. Grandma must have had this restored recently.
IT, this is Clyde speaking. How can I help you?
Never mind.
Suit yourself.
Nice surprise you left me in the VoiceForge program, asshole.
What the heck are you babbling about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You are one sick puppy.
I don't know which pill you forgot to take today, but I don't have time for this shit. I'm gone.
McConnell Air Force Base, how can I help you?
Hi, I was just wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Sure thing, ma'am. Ask away.
I don't see a reason to ask him. All right, that's all.
Goodbye, ma'am.
No result for that. No result for that. That action doesn't seem... It's a small key, fairly modern design. No identifying tag, unfortunately. I wonder what this unlocks. Grandpa in uniform with 2 other men. Something is handwritten on the back. Flight training, McConnell Air Force Base, 1941. It's labeled boot. My smoke's about a half a pack. Started when I was 12 and never looked back. Pretty much the only thing keeping me sane. My trusty Zippo, running a bit low on fuel. There's a crude inscription, BH, which is a mystery to me. The only thing my deadbeat dad left me. Some kind of winter forest scene. I've always wondered if it's supposed to be Conwell Woods or not. Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi!
Okay, I'm off.
Bye!
Do you know anything about this flower?
It's red?
Enlightening. Do you know what this is?
Chinese fireworks, of course. I grew up in Shanghai. I know what I'm talking about. They used to call me Dong Pai, meaning round-eyed baldy. Those were some rough years. I miss the food, not to mention the women. Got 2 kids down there now, Maylin and Little Pink.
Time to hit the off switch now, buddy. Do you know what this key opens?
Your heart, mademoiselle?
Oh, brother. Again? No thanks. I'm gonna have to think outside the box. I don't want to show her that. That doesn't need unlocking. I'd prefer to smoke outdoors. Hey, Doofus.
Oh, hi!
I had a few more questions.
Fire away!
I don't need to ask him about that. Want to smoke, buddy?
Nah, I got stage 2 lung cancer. I'm keeping it under control with a fruitarian diet.
Okay, that's enough serious questions for now.
Alrighty.
Hey, how about another show?
Sure. Any suggestions?
Natural bald killers would be.
Bald move. Fernando, you've been such a good friend. I can't thank you enough for making me whole again. Turn this scalp into a breathtaking golden carpet, such as the world has never seen. Okay, Doctor. I'm
Again?
counting down
no,
now.
thanks.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
Hey, Doofus.
Oh, hi.
Hey, how about another show?
Sure. Any suggestions?
How about the usual surprises?
Business as usual. I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing.
Nurse! He's seizing! Oh, shit! Man,
It's all right, Claude.
Understood, sir.
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
That's not what this is about. It's personal.
Sounds serious. Perhaps I should ask Claude to produce his gun.
You know, Charles, the person most likely to be harmed by a gun tends to be its owner.
Very true. That's something the Japs who captured me learned the hard way.
Did my grandfather bail you out then too, or was that one of the few times where he didn't save your sorry ass?
Hold on there. Explain yourself.
You're willing to listen to something other than your own voice? I'm stunned. I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph, but he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
It's hardly Grandpa's fault. He did everything he could to set my father straight.
Oh, I never claimed to doubt Joseph's commitment, but I'm not going to ignore his flaws either. Your grandfather often used his heart when he should have used his head.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I believe it is, objectively, but I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. Eventually, my company grew much too large for this little town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks. Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense, he's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I've passed the building a few times in the city. So, do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself. trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now. Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious, what's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster, and I always leave early.
I don't need to ask him about that. Do you recognize this, Charles?
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran, taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
Do you know what this key opens?
You must be truly desperate if you ask random people a question like that.
What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Do you know what this is?
A flower? Why don't you consult a botanist instead of bothering me with this nonsense?
Thanks, Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
A private phone. Wade must get special privileges here. Looks like Wade brought some of his old tombs with him. Just some boring landscape paintings. I'd rather not. He'd crush me like a twig. That guy is huge. I wonder how many cows he eats per day. Rows and columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging. Nah, nothing like that in here.
Oh, hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is? He was a friend of Grandpa's.
I believe he teaches at the flight school these days.
I don't think so, at least not anymore. I was told he was placed in a mental facility.
Really? He always struck me as a kind man, maybe a bit nervous and on edge, but not crazy.
There's more. I found out that Jimmy asked Grandpa for help not long before Grandpa ended up in that wheelchair. Jimmy sounded really desperate. I'm sure what happened to Grandpa that night had something to do with his cry for help.
You should go find the man then. Surely he must know something.
That's the plan. I just wondered if there's anything else you think I should know about him.
Not really. We haven't stayed in touch since Joseph was injured. I know that he had a wife, Agatha, and a son, James. Agatha passed away from cancer years ago, but as far as I know, James still lives in the city with his family.
Okay, thanks, Grandma. I don't see a reason to ask her about that. I already showed her that. Bye, Grandma. I'll be
so long.
Nope, couldn't find it.
McConnell Air Force Base, how can I help you?
Hi. I was just wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Sure thing, ma'am. Ask away.
Do you know anything about a pilot named Jimmy Cochran? He was assigned to your base during World War II. Maybe even longer?
Hold on, let me check. Yes, Jimmy Cochran, fighter pilot born 1922, tour of duty in Japan from 41 to 42, honorably discharged for health reasons. Spent some time as a civilian pilot elsewhere in the U.S. until he returned to the flight academy here in the capacity of a teacher. Mr. Cochran was the major proponent of opening up the academy to civilian students. He continued teaching at this base until a sudden resignation in 1983 for unspecified reasons.
All right, thanks. I don't see a reason to ask. All right, that's all.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Nah, nothing like... Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Nope.
Do you know anything about the art theft in the Wade estate?
Yes, Mr. Wade phoned ahead about that. Lenny!
Yes, boss?
Get the report from the burglary in the Wade estate back in '86?
On it, boss. There you go, Kathy.
Thanks, buddy. I gotta find this Goldfarb guy. Maybe he knows more about the burglary. Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kathy. What's...
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Sounds familiar, but I can't place him.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Not really, Kathy. Sorry.
Nah, I don't want to ask him. I'll hang on to it for now. Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Never heard of him. Anything else?
I'll hang on to it for now. That's all for now.
Good.
Oh, hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Oh, that poor man. He used to be an upstanding citizen, you know. Now he's constantly drinking and keeps babbling on about that imaginary acting career of his.
Sad thing. Do you know where I can find him?
He's homeless, dear. Lost his job a few years ago and never really got back on his feet.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Thanks, Grandma. Looks like I'm gonna have to have a chat with Goober. I don't want to show her that. Bye, Grandma. I'll be back later.
So long.
I need a word, Miss Mendez.
Wait, how do you know my name?
It's written on that board behind you, genius.
You have the eyesight of a bald eagle or something?
What can I say? I'm a freak of nature. What happened to Goober, anyway?
Who?
The guy who had the seizure?
Oh, he ran off somewhere. Kept babbling about a religious near-death experience.
Okay, thanks.
Back again, I see.
I sure am. He looks weak, but his eyes are sharp. I had some more questions, Charles.
I'm listening.
Do you know who Franklin Goldfarb is?
I'm not familiar with that name.
I got the police report about the burglary from the cops.
Good. Any new leads?
I have a few ideas, yeah.
Excellent. Let me know what you come across.
Thanks, Charles. That's...
You're welcome.
Hello again, Goober.
You again? Are you stalking me, girl? You pop up everywhere I go. I'll try to tone down the charm, but I can't promise anything.
Huh, yeah, you're quite the charmer.
I know. I just said that, man.
Listen, I feel kind of bad about the electrocution.
Oh, that's what it was. What a cherry on top of my stellar performance.
Yeah, it was... pretty convincing.
So what brings you to the house of God? Come to repent?
I'm afraid that ship has long since sailed, buddy. I had a few things I wanted to ask you about, though.
Shoot, Missy!
I don't need to ask him about that. I should probably confront him directly about him being a witness. Your real name is Franklin Goldfarb, right?
Oh, nobody calls me that.
Regardless, I know for a fact that you were a witness to a burglary a few years back at the Wade Estate.
Yeah, what about it?
Why don't you tell me what you saw exactly?
I heard the alarm go off, glass breaking, then I saw 3 guys running away, carrying a bunch of stuff.
What did they look like?
It was dark, I don't know, they were definitely 3 big, bulky guys. They
what?
Oh, nothing, that's it. Didn't see anything else.
Bullshit, spit it out.
Well, one of those guys dropped his ring when running away. I sort of pawned it.
A ring? What kind of ring?
Platinum with an inscription. 2 letters, B something. Man, I don't remember. My photographic memory stopped working in 1979.
Which pawn shop was that?
Pete's Pawning and Plumbing. It closed down a long time ago, though. Owner left town. There's a coffee shop back there now.
Too bad. Guess that's a dead end. Thanks anyway. Didn't I see 2 letters fitting that description recently? Not on a building. It was something small. I already asked him about that. I should look into the ring with a B followed by another letter. Didn't I see 2 letters fitting that description not long ago? Not on a building. It was something small. Do you recognize these men?
That's your granddad, right?
Yeah. What about the other 2?
No idea. I think my face blindness is acting up again.
Okay. Did the inscription on the ring look anything like this?
Wow, actually exactly like that.
Any idea what BH stands for?
Beehive? Bet high? Big head?
Okay, that's all for now.
See ya!
Hello, Isaac. I've got a few more questions for you.
I'm all ears, my child.
Do you know what BH means? It's inscribed on this lighter.
I'm sorry, but no.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
I don't recognize that name, no.
Do you know anything about an art theft at the Wade Estate in the 80s?
I have just a vague memory of reading about it in the paper.
I don't need to show him that. I don't need to show... That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
Oh, hello, dear.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Do you recognize the acronym BH? It's on Dad's lighter.
Yes, dear. It means the Black Hats. They're those ruffians on motorcycles whom your father is associated with.
Oh, his biker gang. That makes sense. What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
I refuse to talk about those hoodlums. They turned your father into a horrible person. You should stay far away from them, Kathy. They're awful people, just awful.
I don't want to show her that. Bye, Grandma. I'll be back later.
So long.
I don't want to show her that. Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
They've caused us trouble from time to time, but they've been kind of quiet lately. We put a few of their captains in the slammer over the years, but we never managed to find enough dirt on their leader, Bo Brunson. Big Bo.
Do you know where I can find them?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just find a map.
Got it. Thanks. Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
Why, you care to join? I'm sure they'd be real impressed by your big bike, but...
Let's just say I have a healthy curiosity.
I'd say your curiosity borders on mental illness. You have a death wish? Bikers don't mess around with little girls.
You gonna help me or not, Sheriff?
Not really. Go bother Lenny with it.
That's all for now.
Good.
Sweet butt incoming!
Like hell I am. I'm nobody's property.
You sure? Doesn't she look like a sweet butt? Little slut? I think she does.
Step off, creep.
Or what? You tell your daddy on me?
You think I need my daddy to kick your pathetic ass?
Oh, I love it when they play hard to get.
Let go of me!
What the hell's going on out here?
Nothing, Prez. Just having a bit of fun with this gash here.
I suggest you leash that dog of yours.
For fuck's sake, Prospect, not again. Get the hell out of here.
Sorry, boss, I'll go. Fuck, that hurt, you cunt.
He'll be disciplined for that.
He better be. I take it you're Bo?
I am. And who are you, darling?
Kathy Rain.
Bullshit. She lives in the city with her deranged mother. Who are you, really? Did the Vandals send you?
No, they didn't. I am Kathy Rain.
Prove it, then.
Well, I would, but I left my ID back home.
That's convenient. I think I've wasted enough time with you.
I need to figure out some proof. This proof enough for you?
I'll be damned. That's Brian's lighter, all right. Sorry about the paranoia. We've had some problems with the Vandals lately.
I get it. Can't be too careful.
So, that's your ride out there. Corley Motors, right? 78?
76.
You got the same taste as your old man. He always rode Corleys.
Probably the only thing he and I have in common.
Did you set up those mods yourself? Looks custom made for your, small frame.
Yeah, took some time to get the measurements right.
I imagine so. Girls like you don't often ride heavy bikes.
I'm not most girls.
Ain't that the truth? Most girls don't just waltz into places like this, either.
I guess you'd know. Anyway, I had some questions for you in the club.
Go ahead, then. Your old man was a good brother, so I'll indulge it for now.
Do you know anything about what happened to Joseph Rain in 1981?
No, we had our differences, me and him, but that's a horrible fate for a man. I'd rather be dead than a vegetable.
So I take it you and him didn't get along.
No, I could write a book about that man. On one page I'd praise him, on the next I'd want to smash his skull in. He could be a real self-righteous prick when he wanted to, that's for sure. But everyone knew he was the real law around here. Truman was a tool. I respected Joseph, and he respected me, but he hated how Brian looked up to me. Joseph always blamed the club for the path Brian chose in life, even though it was just due to him being a shitty father.
You seriously thought Grandpa was a bad parent?
Everybody knew about it. People just tend to forget the bad qualities of men in wheelchairs. Joseph wasn't a saint. He saw everything in black and white. He was only kind to whomever he considered to be good by his narrow moral standards. The ones who wouldn't fit in that small mold didn't get any chances, none whatsoever.
Do you know anything about Lily Myers?
Nothing that anyone else around here couldn't tell you.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
No.
Tell me, how long have you been the president of this club?
15 years now, give or take. VP for 10 before that.
Good. Then you can tell me why you stole Lily Myers' paintings from Charles Wade in '86.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I'd recommend you be careful with wild accusations like that.
Whatever. Be that way.
Wise choice.
What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
Do I look like a pious man to you? I've peed on churches.
This may be a weird question, but have you ever met a bald man dressed in red?
I've made a few bald men red. That count?
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
Black Hats MC was founded in the 60s by my old man, my uncle, and 2 other local bikers. Conwell Springs is the mother chapter, and we have support clubs in 6 other locations across 3 states. There's a total of 16 members here, 12 patch, 4 prospects. I'm the acting president of this chapter as well as of the whole club. Have been for more than 15 years.
The law give you any trouble?
It used to be tough when your granddad was around. He and Truman ran a tight ship.
And now?
Now they try, but Boyks and the boy are a nuisance at best.
No use. He's not going to budge on this one. I need to figure out some way to make him more cooperative. Do you know what this is?
Whoa.
What? Do you recognize that?
I saw one of those with my own eyes a few years ago.
Really? Where?
Middle of the woods, the road to the city. Those things came from nowhere and gave me this crazy headache right on the plate in my head. At the time, I thought it was just a nasty case of migraine.
You have a plate in your head?
Yeah, titanium from a shrapnel wound I got in Nam.
I see. Titanium isn't the least bit magnetic, is it?
How the hell should I know? I'm no scientist.
Do you remember where exactly on the road it happened?
No. Like I said, I dismissed it as a migraine. Didn't pay too much attention as to where I was.
Fair enough. Do you know anything about this flower, Bo?
Do I look like a florist to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
You crack me up, girl.
I don't need to show him that. I don't need to show him that. Care to join me for a smoke, Bo?
Sorry, darling, I'm trying to quit.
All right, I'm gonna hit the road.
Right on. I have some business to take care of, but make yourself at home.
Thanks, Bo. See you around.
Hey, Brian's girl.
Yeah?
I overheard you. I'm Emmett.
Hey.
The boss man isn't usually that grumpy. He's got a lot on his mind. But I think I may know of a way to loosen him up.
I'm all ears, buddy.
Well, Bo and Brian are the double Bs, as we used to call them. They used to have this drink together. Brian came up with it. He called it a Bloodier Mary.
Sounds like my kind of drink.
Yeah, it's basically a Bloody Mary, but with pig blood instead of tomato juice.
I take that back. Gross.
I'm kidding. It's just a Bloody Mary, but with a special ingredient added to it.
If you say that special ingredient is blood, I will literally punch you.
No. Brian refused to tell anyone what it was. He only made it for special occasions. It's probably something uncommon, like a rare herb or some kind of expensive spice.
So let me guess. If I can produce this drink for Bo, you think he would help me out?
It'll make him remember Brian, which should go a long way. He hasn't had that drink since your old man disappeared. Brian was like a son to him. The boss would have died for him back in the day. If you could recall the good times with your father, he might change his mind.
I guess it could be worth a try. But wait, why are you helping me?
You're Brian's kid. That means you're family. we take care of family.
Well, how was that drink compared with a regular Bloody Mary?
Tasted a bit more like pepper and had a punch to it. It usually gave some pretty nasty hangovers. Oh, if you had a lot of them, you'd hallucinate some crazy shit. Pretty wild.
Trippy. Thanks.
You're welcome, darling.
Hey, bartender, do you happen to know how to make a Bloodier Mary?
You mean a Bloody Mary?
No, this is something different.
Afraid not. I can make your regular Bloody Mary, though, if you want.
Maybe later. I need to figure something out.
All right, then.
I used to be a bit of a pool shark. Impressive bar. These guys like to drink. I'd rather just talk to their leader. Various pictures and mugshots of the club members. Some of them look pretty old. This club must have been around for a while. I don't need to show that to him. Impressive bar. Hey, bartender, do you happen to know how to make a Bloodier Mary?
You mean a Bloody Mary?
No, this is something different.
Afraid not.
Maybe later.
All right, then.
"100% country music. Be still, my heart." Whew, out of order. My ears are safe. Sorry, endangered flower, but I really need to make a drink. Impressive bar. These guys like to drink. Hey, bartender, do you happen to know how to make a Bloodier Mary?
You mean a Bloody Mary?
No, this is something...
Afraid not. I can make your...
Maybe later. I need to figure...
All right, then.
He's the bartender here. Doesn't appear to be a club member. It's a specimen of that red scythe flower. Smells a bit like pepper. I think this is what I need for the Bloodier Mary. I don't see how those things work together. I'd like a Bloody Mary.
Coming right up.
Oh, and add this, will you? Just something I like for flavor. Put it in a blender.
Whatever you say. One Bloody Mary, boy.
Thanks, buddy.
The club will cover that, Jose?
Sure thing, VP.
Thanks again, Emmett.
You got it.
Here's hoping it can make Bo a bit more cooperative. Hey, Bo. I've got something for you.
I recognize that smell. You found your dad's recipe.
Something like that.
Man, is this a trip down memory lane? I keep expecting Brian to walk in here any second. You know, all this nostalgia is making me remember how much I really owe your old man.
Yeah?
Yeah, so here's the deal. In '86, Carl, my VP at the time, came to me and said he had a job lined up for the club. Some guy'd offer him good dough for stealing a bunch of paintings from a mansion. He needed 2 brothers for the job. I was busy with other things at the time, so I gave my permission as long as the club got the usual cut. He returned a week later with a nice wad of cash. I didn't realize it was Wade he had knocked off until I read the paper. If I had known that, I'd advised against it. Wade is a powerful man with friends in city council. There's no reason to piss him off.
Got it. So, what do you know about the guy who hired you for the job?
Not much. Carl said it was some bearded preacher.
Whoa, Isaac from the Church of the Holy Trinity?
Could be. I don't know who that is. It was a priest. I know that much.
Thanks, Bo. I'm gonna follow up on this right away.
That's it? You're not gonna ask me about what happened to your old man? Not even curious?
I couldn't give 2 shits about that asshole.
Bullshit. Don't expect anyone to believe you're that angry with someone you don't give 2 shits about.
Either he's dead or he abandoned me. Do any of those options look appealing to you?
They don't, but you should know that no one from the club had anything to do with it. I meant it when I said Brian was a good brother. He had no enemies here. Not then, and not now.
Comforting to hear, Mr. President.
Shut up and listen, girl. I'm trying to tell you something. Brian used to talk about heading to Mexico, about riding off into the sunset and getting away from all his newfound responsibilities. And I think part of him was serious. You deserve to know that there's a chance he's still out there somewhere.
Sure. Let's hope that bastard is living it up somewhere.
Just take care of yourself, you hear?
You too. That day went by fast. I think I'm gonna ask if I can stay the night at Grandma's.
Hello, sweetheart.
Hey, Grandma, it got kinda late. Would it be okay if I stayed the night?
Of course, dear. Have a seat. I'll make you something to eat.
Oh, you're the best. I'm starving.
Do you see? You are both unwanted, both discarded. Good. Lick the flames, buddy boy. Lick the flames and feel the hatred burn.
Lily's painting, burning, and the kid from the cemetery. It's gotta mean something.